Hey everyone, it's Nick from the eBay members group selling. I wanted to go through today over some model phones here. These are all Galaxy S5s. I want to show you what we mean by different models and different conditions and how you can check for things when you're going to meet up with people. You'll have to excuse me, I'm kind of a nut. I do like my tools and playing with all the devices. I have purchased parts and pieces of phones so I can play with them and learn as I go, just to better value my phones if I can and learn for personal gain. Alright, so here we have Galaxy S5s. Well, let's turn them over. You'll see the different conditions. Alright, well, from the start, two look good, one looks bad. One looks really bad. A closer look at the bad. We have cracked glass for sure, but one other thing you want to see, missing pieces like this and here. This cracked glass is replaceable, but when you get through the LCD, which is the next two layers, which is actually goes digitizer, then the LCD. So you have glass, digitizer, which is the actual touch mechanism, and then LCD, which is the display itself. When you go through and through, this phone still may work, but to replace this, you actually have to replace the entire LCD assembly. And that costs a lot of money, not worth your time or effort for the value of the phone. Don't worry, I bought this for personal use. But I'll kick it on right now if I have a charge on it. Haha, I don't. That's a joke. As I get a cable, I'll show you. Sorry for the wobbly camera. I have it on a little stand. Oh, charging for checking devices when you're out in the field. I got this beautiful Anker battery. Now it's a gigantic battery, can charge an iPhone 6 times before it dies. The beauty of it, see the colors there? It's quick charge and it's also smart charge. So it pumps out 3 amps, which means it's a quick charge. If it's a smartphone that can handle that, you can test a phone that's completely dead in about 2 minutes. You'll bring it back to life if the battery's good. You can bring it right back to life and get it going in the field. I recommend that because not everybody wants to go out to your car to see a charge or anything. At least get yourself a 2 amp charger. You have to look at the output in amps. The 1 amp will not charge a phone fast enough for your needs when you're out in the field. So I just plug this thing into at 1%. I'll see if I can even kick it on at 1. Boom. See, this is a bad screen, so the glass on top. The digitizer still works. I tested it. But your glass is broken through. If someone to take this to a repair shop, they'd replace the entire assembly. There's no saving what's underneath, and the glass is missing like that. We got an up and running phone. When you're inspecting phones on and off, we'll go back to it. The screen is one thing. I'm going to show you underneath the battery cover. Here is one main thing that I look at. Good battery. It's flat. See that? It's flat. This is the charging port. Port cover is missing. There's no cover over it. It's $1 piece. You can find them on eBay. This is the port cover. Same model phone. Port cover. They're almost always missing. But $1 piece could help change the value. It could. I'm not saying it will. But I have a few on hand, so if I get these phones, I can pop them right in. All it takes, that screw right there, small screwdriver, you take this little plastic cap off, and this hole comes out, you slide the new one in, and you're good to go. Alright, underneath the battery, model sticker, IMEI. Make sure this is the same thing that you quoted somebody for. This is the first thing I check. I've made the mistake once where they told me what model it was when I talked to them on Facebook. When I went and met, turned it on, checked everything, I thought it was great. And it was just a different model and lesser in value. That's going to happen. Well, we all live and learn by our mistakes. So, watermark here for the S5, that's clean. Otherwise, it'd be a solid color. I read this. They have different ones that look a little different, but the battery and the phone are both solids. As an example, I want to show you these other two phones. Now, these look like good screens besides my finger marks. They look like they're good. Of course, there's hairline fractures, all scratches on the glass, but the phone itself looks good. Big problem, though. If you don't open that back battery cover, look at this battery compared to this one inside the case. There's a huge, huge difference. Look, I can't even push it down all the way. That's called battery bloat. The battery still works, but it blew up inside. The problem with that is when it's inside a case, sometimes this case is on really nice and tight. It will actually pop through this side. And on the S5, I'm finding more and more often that this is the problem. It's actually popping the screen off. There's glue around the inside of the screen to this case, and that actually pops. And I'll show you what I mean, because guess what? Phone number 3 looks beautiful. Screen looks good, actually. In certain light, there you go. Do you see that? Those cracks that you see all around underneath my fingerprints? That's not on the glass. That's actually the LCD. That's underneath, but guess what? It still works fine. It's very, very fine. It's hard to notice, but you can see all of those lines. Open this guy up. Again, there's a bow to the battery. It's not as bad as that last one, but there's a definite bow. And what happens, this right here is touching the LCD. There's a plastic case over it, but it's close enough where it pressures it and starts to bow the phone. And guess what? The first thing to come off, the screen. I'll show you what I mean by that. Handy dandy tool. Look how easy that was for me to get my tool underneath the screen. Now there's a little like adhesive that goes all around the edge to keep this thing on tight. But when it's this easy, I want you to be inspecting these phones and checking. If it's popping out and you can pull it out with your finger, it's just an old seal, or the battery bloated and cracked the LCD. These are cosmetic things sometimes. The phones still function. Look, I'm getting my fingernail right under here. I had one in the field. I offered, I can't remember, I think it was $50 for an S5. I got there. Perfect looking phone. Same exact model here, the white one. I stuck my finger here. The whole screen came off. Now it's supposed to. It has a ribbon cable and it's held on by the ribbon cable and it still runs even with the screen off of the chassis. But the whole seal was completely gone. Phone was working perfect. I still took it because I know this is just me. I can get parts. This is adhesive for S5 and I actually have iPhone 6 in here too. It's a heck of a job to do. You're doing surgery on a phone here. But I had fun doing it. I also, this is actually adhesive tape that's only 2 millimeters thin, so I can do spot-on repairs too. Just to help with values, if I see little blemishes like this, I know I can fix it and bring it back to full status. It's awesome. So, bad batteries. It's still clean. It's not water damage. That's actually the other look that Galaxy put out. The X is in there. It will turn a solid color if it got wet. Alright, so no water damage on these phones. 2 batteries dead. So replacement batteries typically around $10, typically. Sometimes I would replace it or I'd sell it without the battery. I just don't want to deal with it. Good battery is flat. I have a dozen of batteries that I've deemed unfit for use. This one's harder to see. Maybe over white. When it bows, and you can feel the bow in it, and you saw when I put it in the phone how much it stuck out compared to the one that was good. So that's about the batteries. Spots on the phone. On the S5, SD card goes underneath SIM card on top. Here you can see the camera. The glass on that is completely shattered. So this one I'm not going to replace anything, do anything. I'm actually not going to even sell it. I'm using it for something else, but it still works. It's just there's no value to flip it on eBay unless somebody's buying it for parts, but you better have gotten it for a really good price. That's my wrap on the physical parts of the phone. If you want me to turn on phone here, let's pick one. Yeah, that's like the worst battery in the world, and it can damage the phone, seriously, even if it's just sat idle in someone's drawer for a year or so. That happens. Batteries are relatively inexpensive to bring a phone back to full. Oh, actually, we didn't turn on. Let's turn on the heavily cracked LCD here. I'm gonna have to sell it for parts. They're T-Mobile anyway, so I sell them the parts anyways. Put it back on. I can't remember if this was the battery that I charged up or not. I'll put it on charger. Checking the charge port, making sure that LED turns on the top. Well, it's loading up. This is what I was talking about on the groups. I saw T-Mobile pop up. That tells you it's a T-Mobile phone. You can still see the cracks in the LCD. That's not the glass. The glass is clean. But guess what? Phone works fine. One major thing I'm starting to look for, especially on the S5, is the screen burn-in. Alright, you can see the phone is charging. Actually, it's hard to bring it up there. There, red light. Battery is charging. So we know it can take juice. The charge port working. That's what matters. Who really cares? These are used batteries. What you care about is that the phone can actually charge. Charge ports are replaceable. They're relatively cheap parts, but guess what? Do you want to learn how to do it yourself? It's up to you. I've had fun doing it, but it takes time. Time is money. Alright, so I'm going to kill this phone. I'm going to show you what a screen burn-in looks like. Yes, I actually have another S5 that's not being sold. Going with Verizon on this one. Ha! Easy way to tell this is a Verizon phone. Hey, look at that, the cover. But covers are replaceable. It's a very clean, beautiful phone. Only one problem. Hey, Verizon. So you saw a T-Mobile logo. Now you get the Verizon logo. Cranked it up. You ever see a screen burn in? Do you know what a screen burn in means? That means that an image that was displayed on the screen is stuck there, and it's pretty much stuck there forever. Now this is going to be very faint and hard to see. And I had a picture of a white picture. There we go. Rotate. It's very hard. You can see a line in the middle right there. That was an image, and if you look closer, it's really hard to see, but there's the actual keyboard. Of course you get pop-ups. There might be a little bit better. Of course my camera has to get in focus with it. There you can see some of the keyboard in the white image here. That's never leaving the LCD. That's called a burn-in. It happens. I've seen it 3 times already with the S5. If you sell it, you may get lucky and not get the phone returned to you because someone didn't notice it. Sometimes they're more noticeable than others. Here you can see it looks beautiful. You almost can't tell. I turn it bright all the way, turn it down all the way. You really can't tell that it's there. In normal use, you won't. But you're going to get that one guy you sold it to that's going to go, hey, item not as described. I am going to sell it as parts, even though it's Verizon used, and I make sure I mention that it has that burn in. It's hard to see. So, important things today when you're looking at phones. I know I went over the Galaxy today. I'll go through an iPhone 6 on you in the future, because those screens get replaced so often through repair jobs, and they don't reseal them properly, or they did it themselves. You got to check the layers. Again, there's glass, digitizer, LCD, usually all in one piece. Then it gets married to the chassis. So chassis, the whole assembly to the chassis usually has its own seal, and then the glass onto the digitizer LCD has another seal. Well, actually that's glued on, and then sometimes they have the iPhone 6 actually has a bezel plastic piece that connects to that, then it connects to the phone. We'll go over that some other time. Quick run through. Do your test on the major components, Wi-Fi being one. You kind of need to when you go through a setup. Setup's pretty much made up for you. This phone's not in setup mode. But one thing I got asked several times when my phone is up on eBay, does the microphone work? And Android, find the voice recorder. iPhone has the same type of thing. Hit the record button. Once you got it set up, you can see the microphone moving. You can stop it, a 3-second recording. Hit play. Testing. I just test the microphone and the speaker. Now do it again. Play that through the headphone jack. I get a lot of people asking about headphone jacks as well. I get those major components done, Wi-Fi, and then so you can throw a SIM in to check to see if it has the network capability, or check the IMEI camera. Yep, works. Perfect. Check both directions though. There are 2 different cameras on there. Next time I'll go through an iPhone 6. There are some things I ran into that I was easily able to fix. Sometimes it was actually a little bit harder. So we'll go through that next time. Thank you for your time. Hopefully you'll learn something from the phones. We'll talk later. Peace out.